So today we are going to begin with scene 2 of the play Julius Caesar. And one thing that you need to understand, as I always say, that you need to know the venue, the place where the scene takes place. So the scene 2 takes place at a public place. All right? At a public place. Now, in this scene, you will find that Caesar has entered Rome with his wife Calpurnia, Mark Antony, other important Romans, and there was a kind of procession which was taking place. And Cassius, Brutus and Cassius, they leave the procession. वो उस procession को छोड़ देते हैं and they discuss their in uneasiness. You know, the way they were feeling uncomfortable at having Caesar as their ruler. All right. So let's begin with the scene. Flourish. What kind of flourish? You see, whenever a king enters, so the kind of flourish of trumpets is made, right? Enter Caesar. Antony. Antony is Mark Antony, who is loyal friend of Caesar for the cause. So they enter for the cause. Now please understand, for the cause here, cause on the feast of Lupercal. I told you there is a feast of Lupercal. So they come over there for the cause. Calpurnia, who is Caesar's wife, Portia, who is Brutus's wife, Decius Brutus, Cicero, Brutus, Cassius, and Casca, they all are there. A great crowd following, उनके पीछे पीछे बहुत बड़ी भीड़ आ रही है. Among them, a soothsayer. A soothsayer is the one who makes prediction about future. So Caesar calls his wife. He says, Calpurnia, Casca, peace hold, quiet everyone. Peace means be silent. Sab chup ho jao. Caesar speaks. Caesar is saying something. So Caesar again calls his wife. So Calpurnia says, here, my lord, I am here. Caesar, stand you directly in Antonius's way. And Antonius here means Antony. When he doth run his course. When he runs his course. Now, again, I told you that this course actually here refer to the feast of Lupercal, which is going on. And you know, on the feast of Lupercal, young men ran through the city. They used to run through the city and touched spectators with leather straps. Caesar is directing his wife Calpurnia to stand in way of Antony, because Antony is going to run. Okay, and he wants Antony to touch Calpurnia. Why? Because Calpurnia did not have any child of her own. उसका अपना बच्चा नहीं था. So then he calls Antony. Antonius. Antony says, Caesar, my lord. Yes, my lord. Caesar, forget not in your speed, Antony, to touch Calpurnia. You should not forget to touch Calpurnia in your speed, for because our elders say, हमारे बड़े ऐसा कहते हैं, the baron touched in this holy chase, shake off their sterile curse. That the baron here means infertile lady, you know, the one who is not able to conceive. All right. So the baron, the infertile lady, touched in this holy chase. If she is touched in this holy chase, shake off their sterile curse. Sterile means severe curse. तो जो ये severe curse उसको मिला है, ये जो एक श्राप उसको होता है that she cannot give birth to a child, it gets shaken off. वो चला जाता है फिर. All right, it gets removed. So Antony says, I shall remember when Caesar says do this, it is performed. So from this line, we come to know that Antony was very much loyal to Caesar. Caesar says, set on and leave no ceremony out. Okay, set on, then you please begin and leave no ceremony out. And you should not leave out any ceremony during this feast of Lupercal. Flourish is there, and there is a soothsayer, I told you, one who makes future predictions. So he calls up Caesar. Caesar says, who calls? Who's calling? Casca says, bid every noise be still. Ask every noise to be still. Still means silence. Caesar says, who is it in the press that calls on me? Who is it in the press? Press here refers to crowd. इस भीड़ में ऐसा कौन है जो मुझे आवाज लगा रहा है? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music. I hear a tongue shriller, which is more shrill than the music. Cry Caesar. There is a tongue which cries Caesar. Speak. Caesar is turned to hear. Speak. Caesar is ready to listen to you. Soothsayer says, beware the Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March. Ides of March means 15th of March. इससे बच के रहना. Caesar, what man is that? ये कौन आदमी है? Brutus, a soothsayer bids you beware the Ides of March. There is some man who makes future prediction and he wants you to beware the Ides of March. Caesar says, set him before me. उसको मेरे सामने लेकर आओ. Let me see his face. I want to see his face. Cassius says, fellow, come from the throng. Throng again means crowd. भीड़ में से निकल कर आओ. Look upon Caesar. Caesar को देखो. Then Caesar says, what says thou to me now? What said you to me now? तुमने अभी मुझसे क्या कहा? Speak once again. फिर से एक बार बोलो. Soothsayer says, beware the Ides of March. Ides of March से बचकर रहना. Caesar, he is a dreamer. Let us leave him. Pass means move on. He is a dreamer. So he doesn't pay much heed to what the soothsayer says. वो उसको ज्यादा ध्यान नहीं देता है. And then, he says that leave him. Pass. Let's go from here. All right. Then trumpet sounds and everybody leave from there. Exeunt means exit all except Brutus and Cassius. सिर्फ Brutus और Cassius यहाँ पर बच गए हैं. बाकी everybody else has moved on. All right. So Cassius says, will you go see the order of the course? Will you go to see the order of the course of games or events that would be taking place in that feast of Lupercal? क्या तुम जाओगे उसमें? Brutus कहता है, not I, मैं तो नहीं जाऊंगा. Cassius, I pray you do. I request you do means go. Brutus says, I am not gamesome. I am not gamesome means I am not interested in sport. I do lack some part of that quick spirit that is in Antony. I lack some part of that quick spirit. मेरी ऐसी quick spirit नहीं है games को लेकर जैसे कि Antony की है. And that is why Antony is going to participate in that game and he says, I am not interested. Let me not hinder, Cassius, your desires. I leave you. Let me not hinder your desires. मैं तुम्हारी इच्छा को नहीं मारना चाहता. I leave you. मैं यहाँ से चला जाऊंगा. You participate if you want to. I don't want to prevent you from participating. If you want to participate, you please go ahead. I don't want to hinder your desires. For that, Cassius says, Brutus, I do observe you now of late. Of late here means recently. I do observe you recently. मैंने recently अभी तुम्हें observe किया है. I have not from your eyes that gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have. Wont means accustomed or habitual. Accustomed or habitual. He says, I have habitual. So he says that I have observed recently that I don't find the same kind of gentleness in your eyes which you used to have earlier for me. You bear too stubborn and too strange a hand over your friend that loves you. You have become too stubborn and too strange to the person who loves you. And whom is he referring to? Strange here refers to unfamiliar. Unfamiliar. And who is he referring to? He is referring to himself. वो कहता है कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है मुझे लेकर अब तुम थोड़ा stubborn हो गए हो और थोड़े unfamiliar, strange, अजनबी की तरह तुम मुझसे behave करते हो. Okay, so somehow Cassius is complaining to Brutus that Brutus has not been as gentle as he used to be with him earlier. All right. For that Brutus says, Cassius, be not deceived. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. If I have veiled my look, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. If I have veiled my look, means that if I have hidden my look, अगर कहीं मेरे look से ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं बहुत strictly या ungentle way में behave कर रहा हूँ, I turn the trouble of my countenance. Countenance here means appearance merely upon myself. मेरी जो ये appearance है, इसका responsibility, इसका ये trouble, I take it on myself. Vexed I am of late with passions of some difference. Vexed means troubled. I am troubled. मैं परेशान हूँ. Of late means recently, with passions of some difference. Passions of some difference here means conflicting emotions. Conflicting emotions. He says, I am suffering recently with some conflicting emotions, conceptions only proper to myself. These are some conceptions which are proper to myself, means these thoughts which concern me alone which gives some soil perhaps to my behavior. And soil here refers to bad effect, which gives some bad effect perhaps to my behavior. That is concerned only with me. It has no concern with anybody else, and especially not with you. But let not therefore, my good friends, be grieved. But let these emotions, these thoughts must not, let these thoughts not be there for my good friends to be grieved, to be sad. लेकिन मैं नहीं चाहता कि मेरे इन इमोशंस की वजह से मेरे जो अच्छे दोस्त हैं वो दुखी हों. Among which number, Cassius, be you one, and among this number of my good friends you are one of them. Nor construe any further my neglect. And at the same time, I do not want you to construe means what do you call it, seek further explanation. Okay, construe any further is seek further explanation. My neglect, than that poor Brutus, with himself at war, forgets the shows of love to other men. He says that don't think any more of this, okay, more of my neglect. Don't ask for any other further explanation on my neglect. Than that poor Brutus with himself at war, because it is concerned only with poor Brutus who himself is at war, जो खुद अपने आप से लड़ रहा है. Nobody else is there, with him he is fighting. Forgets, because this Brutus forgets the shows of love to other men. Because when I am fighting with myself, I have some conflicting thoughts and passions in my mind. So that is why I forget to show love to other men. For that, Cassius says, then Brutus, I have much mistook your passion. All right. So Cassius, in a way, asks for forgiveness, that I have much mistook your passion. Passion, you can say feelings, that I have mistook your feelings, means I couldn't understand your feelings, by means whereof means of which, by means of which this breast of mine hath buried thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations. And it was for this reason, whereof means by means of which, it was because of this reason the breast of mine had buried. It was because of this reason that I have kept hidden in my heart thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations, thoughts of great value, some important thoughts. All right, some important thoughts, worthy cogitations. Cogitations is reflections of great importance. Means he says that Brutus, I have much mistook your passions. I have mistaken, I have not been able to understand your feelings, by means of which this breast of mine hath buried, means I have kept hidden in my heart thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations, means thoughts and reflections which were of great value, which were very important. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? Please tell me, can you see your face? Brutus says, no, Cassius, for the eye sees not itself, but by reflection, by some other things. He says, no, Cassius, because a man cannot see himself unless it is reflected in something else. All right. So when he asks, can you see your face? क्या तुम अपना चेहरा देख सकते हो? तो वो कहता है, no. For the eye sees not itself, because we ourselves are not able to see our face until by reflection, by some other thing, until it is seen to us by reflection, by some other thing. हम mirror में reflection से ही अपना चेहरा देख सकते हैं. Otherwise, we are not able to see our face. For that, Cassius says, it is just. This is what. And it is very much lamented, Brutus. And at the same time, it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye. And it is very much lamented, means felt to be sad. It is very sad, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors, कि तुम्हारे पास ऐसा कोई mirror नहीं है, as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eyes, that will turn here means reflect the hidden worthiness, जो तुम्हारे अंदर की छुपी हुई जो वर्दीनेस योग्यता है, into your eyes, वो तुम्हारी आईज में रिफ्लेक्ट कर सके, उनको तुम्हें दिखा सके, that you might see your shadow, so that you are able to see your shadow. Shadow again means reflection. I have heard where many of the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes. I have heard, मैंने ऐसा सुना है, where many of the best respect in Rome, best respect here means highest importance, एक्सेप्ट सिर्फ किसको छोड़कर, इमॉर्टल सीजर को छोड़कर. व्हाई इज ही कॉलिंग हिम इमॉर्टल? बिकॉज ही इज बीइंग सरकास्टिक, आप जिसको कह सकते हैं, वो उसका मजाक उड़ाते हुए कहता है ना, सरकास्टिक वे में कह रहा है इमॉर्टल सीजर. व्हाई इज ही कॉलिंग हिम इमॉर्टल? बिकॉज ही इमॉर्टल इज द पर्सन हु कैन नेवर डाई. Okay, so he is calling him, calling Caesar immortal because Caesar is behaving as if he can never die. Speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke. This age's yoke means the oppression of this time. Oppression of this time have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes. So he wants to say that the eyes of the best respected people, highest respected people having highest importance in Rome except Caesar. सीजर को छोड़कर इस रोम में जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट पीपल हैं, वीआईपीज हैं, दोज हु हैव हाईएस्ट पोजीशन, दे ऑल स्पीक ऑफ ब्रूटस. वो ब्रूटस के बारे में सब एक ही बात करते हैं. एंड ग्रोनिंग अंडरनीथ, अंडरनीथ मीन्स अंडर, नीचे, और अंदर ही अंदर ग्रोन करते हैं, दुख मनाते हैं. दिस एज इज योक. एंड व्हाट डू दे फील ग्रोनिंग फॉर? व्हाट डू दे फील सैड फॉर? द ऑपरेशन ऑफ दिस टाइम. इस समय में जो शोषण हो रहा है, जो ऑपरेशन हो रहा है, दे फील सैड फॉर इट एंड दे ऑलवेज स्पीक अबाउट ब्रूटस एंड दे हैव विश्ड दैट नोबल ब्रूटस हैड हिज आईज. और वो हमेशा ये विश करते हैं कि काश जो नोबल ब्रूटस है उसकी आंखें होती. आंखें होती मतलब वो ये सब कुछ देख सकता, व्हाट ऑल इज हैपनिंग इन रोम. For that, Brutus says, into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me? Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius? Cassius, ऐसा कौन सा डेंजर है जिसके बारे में तुम मुझे बता रहे हो? That you would have me seek into myself, which you want me. Would means want. Me seek into myself, जो तुम खुद मुझे ढूंढने देना चाहते हो. For that which is not in me, जो कि मैं खुद नहीं देख पा रहा हूं और तुम मुझे दिखाना चाहते हो. ऐसा कौन सा डेंजर है? For that, Cassius says, therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear. तो फिर सुनने को तैयार हो जाओ. And since you know you cannot see yourself so well as by reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover to yourself. And since you know you cannot see yourself, जैसा कि तुम जानते हो तुम खुद नहीं देख सकते, so well as by reflection, तो ठीक है, फिर तुम्हारी रिफ्लेक्शन बनकर I, your glass, मैं तुम्हारा ग्लास यानी कि तुम्हारा मिरर बनूंगा. ओके, will modestly discover to yourself. And I will modestly means without exaggeration, बिना, discover to yourself. Discover means reveal to yourself. मैं तुम्हारे सामने वो लेकर आऊंगा without any exaggeration. That of yourself which you yet know not of. I will be revealing to you yourself. मैं तुम्हें खुद तुमसे मिलवाऊंगा जिसके बारे में तुम जानते ही नहीं हो. Alright. And be not jealous on me, gentle Brutus. And please don't be jealous on me. Jealous here means suspicious. मेरे ऊपर कोई शक मत करना. Were I a common laugher? If I had been a common laughter, it's not laugh, it's laughter. Were I a common laughter? Common laughter means laughing stock. Or did use to stale with ordinary oaths my love to every new protester, showing my love with ordinary oaths to every new protester. Every new protester, protester is the one who declares, declarer. Agar, if you know that I do fawn on men and hug them hard and after scandal them, और इफ यू नो, और अगर तुम जानते हो, दैट आई डू फॉन ऑन मेन, फॉन मीन्स फ्लैटर ऑन मेन, कि मैं लोगों को बहुत फ्लैटर करता हूँ, एंड हग देम हार्ड, उनको बहुत कस के गले लगाता हूँ, एंड आफ्टर स्कैंडल देम, और उसके बाद मैं उनके साथ स्कैंडल करता हूँ, स्लैंडर करता हूँ, उनको बिट्रे करता हूँ। और इफ यू नो, या तुम ये जानते हो, दैट आई प्रोफेस माई सेल्फ इन बैंक्वेटिंग, दैट आई प्रोफेस माई सेल्फ मीन्स आई प्रोक्लेम माई सेल्फ, मैं बैंक्वेटिंग टू ऑल द राउट, राउट मीन्स मॉब, the whole, then hold me dangerous. Banqueting you can say when we are feasting together, banqueting is feasting के, या फिर मैं अगर तुम्हें ऐसा लगता हूं कि मैं ऐसा इंसान हूं, that I'll be proclaiming myself, that I am always I always speak high of myself whenever we are feasting together, हम सब एक साथ बैठे हैं, खा पी रहे हैं, और उस समय मैं अपने आप को बहुत बड़ा चढ़ा के दिखाता हूँ, then hold me dangerous, तब तुम मुझे खतरनाक समझना. All right. Then suddenly there is flourish and shout. Brutus says, "What means this shouting? ये कैसी आवाज आ रही है? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king." मुझे डर है कि कहीं लोग सीजर को अपना राजा ना बना लें. Cassius says, "I, yes, do you fear it? Do you fear it? तुम्हें वाकई में डर है? Then must I think you would not have it so. Then must I think you would not have it so. You would not means want not have it so. तो क्या मुझे ये समझना चाहिए that you don't want have it so? He says, "I would not, Cassius. I don't want. Yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long?" Wherefore means why. But why do you hold me here so long? तुमने मुझे यहाँ पर क्यों रोका हुआ है? What is it that you would impart to me? ऐसा क्या है जो तुम मुझे बताना चाहते हो? If it be ought toward the general good. If it be, be means is, ought is anything. If it is anything toward the general good means public good. Set honor in one eye and death in the other. एंड आई विल लुक ऑन बोथ इनडिफरेंटली, और मैं उन दोनों को बहुत ही इनडिफरेंटली मीन्स इम्पार्शियली देखूंगा. फॉर लेट द गॉड सो स्पीड मी एज आई लव द नेम ऑफ ऑनर मोर देन आई फियर डेथ. एंड लेट द गॉड सो स्पीड मी मीन्स फेवर मी, और मैं चाहूंगा कि भगवान फेवर करे मुझे, एज आई लव द नेम ऑफ ऑनर मोर देन आई फियर डेथ.